Could a simple tire shop be the key to unlocking Georgie Cooper's destiny? The Season 2 premiere of Georgie Mandy's First Marriage just dropped a massive Easter egg, hinting at the future empire we all know from The Big Bang Theory. But is it exactly as we remember it? Buckle up, because things are about to get interesting. In the season opener, Georgie, ever the ambitious entrepreneur, pitches his business partner Ruben on a bold idea: rebranding McAllister Auto Tire to Dr. Tire. His vision? A nationwide expansion. Big Bang Theory fans, of course, remember that Georgie eventually owns a successful chain of Dr. Tire stores. But here's where it gets controversial. In 2018, when Jerry O'Connell debuted as the older Georgie, he was known as the Tire King of Texas, not the Tire King of America. Is this a plot hole, or a tantalizing hint at even bigger things to come for Georgie? Adding to the changes, the main title sequence bought a fresh coat of paint. While Georgie and Mandy's iconic tango remains the centerpiece, the entire CBS comedy ensemble, well, almost everyone, joins the party. It's like a Where's Waldo of familiar faces. But did they really need to mess with the tango? Some fans are very protective of that opening. According to series co-creator Steve Holland, upcoming episodes will delve into Mandy's burgeoning TV career and Mary's decision to re-enter the dating world. Let's dive deeper into Holland's insights on these changes and what they mean for the future of Georgie Mandy. Building towards a tire empire, the Dr. Tire Dream Tea. So, let's talk about Dr. Tire. Georgie's already got the name locked and loaded. Is this the season we see the rebrand happen? Steve Holland. Not quite yet. Think of it as a fun Easter egg for the die-hard fans. Georgie's planting the seed of his future success. It's a nod to what's to come, a little wink to the audience. TV line. Georgie's also throwing around the idea of taking out loans and expanding across Texas. How serious is he about all this right now? Steve Holland. That's the beauty of Georgie. He's young, a bit impulsive, and sometimes that naivete works in his favor. He's the type to say, "Let's do it," without fully considering the consequences. Season 2 will explore the tension between Georgie's go big or go home attitude and Ruben's more cautious approach. Ruben's the voice of reason, reminding Georgie they can't just rack up debt. This push and pull is a major driving force in their storyline this season. TV line. Georgie mentions a 5-year plan for expansion. Is that a secret hint at the show's own lifespan? Steve Holland. Maybe in a very casual way. It's a fun nod. We'd love to be around for 5 or 6 years or even longer continuing this story. We have certain milestones we need to reach, but we're not bound by a rigid timeline. We know Georgie becomes successful and Dr. Tire becomes a reality, but the when is still up in the air, giving us plenty of room to explore the journey. TV line. He even talks about expanding nationally, something the Big Bang Theory never touched on. Could that be a future storyline after the events of the original series? This is the part most people miss. Steve Holland. It's definitely possible. We haven't had those specific conversations yet, but we're open to it. On Big Bang, he's the Tire King of Texas, but he's still incredibly ambitious. I think a national chain is definitely within his reach at some point. Could Georgie become even more successful than we thought? That's a question worth pondering. The title sequence, Shake-Up. New faces, same tango. TV line. The main title sequence got a makeover this year. Besides aging up Cece, you've added Jim, Audrey, and Connor. Are we supposed to believe they've been there all along, while Georgie and Mandy were too busy tangoing to notice? Steve Holland laughs. They were secretly there the whole time. Just a little Easter egg. Honestly, it's only about 20 frames different from the original. We wanted to acknowledge the ensemble cast while also giving viewers something fresh to look at. It's so easy to skip the main title, and I love ours, so anything that keeps people watching is a win. TV line. Were you worried about sacrificing even a single frame of that iconic tango? Steve Holland. Absolutely. Our editor meticulously carved out a tiny slot before we even filmed to see if it would work. We didn't want to tamper with something that's already great. We extended the knee just a touch to make everything align. But you really don't lose any of the tango. I don't think anyone will even notice anything's missing. TV line. CBS released a photo from episode 1 showing Jim, Audrey, and Connor dressed to the nines at the kitchen table, but we don't see that scene in the episode. Did you film alternate versions, like you did with Sheldon's outfits in the Young Sheldon titles? Steve Holland, it's possible that different versions might pop up from time to time this season. Keep your eyes peeled. TV line. And what about who to include in the title sequence? Was there any debate about whether Ruben should make the cut? Steve Holland, you'll have to keep watching the season to see if Ruben makes an appearance. What's next for Georgie Mandy? TV line. Last season ended on shaky ground for Georgie and Mandy. There are clearly issues to address, but the premiere doesn't immediately dive into them. They seem to be in a relatively good place. What was the reasoning behind that? Steve Holland. We had several dangling storylines from last season, and it felt like a disservice to tackle them all at once in the premiere. They were on shaky ground, but they shared a moment where they decided to try to make things work. They love each other and want the relationship to succeed, but they're facing a lot of external challenges. That's where the fun of these stories lies. There's also a scheduling factor. Chris Gorham, who plays Mandy's ex Scott, is busy with another show in Canada. So, we're working around schedules to keep his storylines alive. TV line. You mentioned that Chris will return in episode 5, marking the first time Georgie and Scott share a scene. Now that you've filmed it, can you give us a sneak peek? Steve Holland. Mandy's been pushing for more responsibility at work, mirroring Georgie's ambition. Scott offers her the chance to cover a meteor shower, which involves an overnight trip. Georgie finds out she's going away with her ex, and he's not thrilled. Jealousy definitely comes into play. He's relatively inexperienced in relationships, so he decides to confront the situation head-on and meet Scott face-to-face. TV line. There was some awkwardness between Mandy and Scott in the season 1 finale. How much does that awkwardness factor into Mandy's decision to take the overnight trip? Steve Holland, it's definitely there in the background. The awkwardness of that past moment, combined with knowing Georgie won't be happy about her working with her ex, let alone going away with him overnight. It's a complex situation. TV line. In episode 3, Mary contemplates dating again. We know Georgie initially objects. What's the root of his reaction? Is it still grief over his father, or a sense of duty to protect his mom now that dad's gone? Steve Holland. For Georgie. The idea of his mother dating again hadn't even crossed his mind. His gut reaction is that it's a betrayal of his father, that it's too soon. It's been over a year since George Sr.'s death, but for Georgie, it still feels fresh, and he sees it as a disrespect to his dad's memory. TV line. Reagan Revord returns as Missy in that episode. How does she feel about Mary dating? Does she share Georgie's sentiments? Steve Holland. Missy is thrilled. The thought of her mom being out of the house, especially on a Friday night, is delightful. She feels suffocated and smothered by her mom, so the idea of Mary having a life outside of constantly monitoring her is a welcome change. TV line. There's a Cooper family dinner scene in that episode. What sets off the inevitable tension? Steve Holland. The topic of Mary dating. The bowling league guy she's been talking to comes up, and Georgie immediately gets upset. Prepare for fireworks. So, what did you think of the Georgie Mandy premiere? Did the Dr. Tyre Easter egg get you excited? Are you happy with the changes to the title sequence? And most importantly, are you Team Georgie or Team Missy when it comes to Mary dating again? Share your thoughts in the comments below.